Okay, welcome everyone to the second cooking class of the Italian Vegan. I must say that I've been a little bit overwhelmed by the response I've had this week. I started this page just about a week ago to share kind of like the passion I have for cooking, and also to show everybody that there are so many recipes from the Italian tradition. They are traditionally so you don't have to reinvent the wheel to prepare vegan recipes, but you can you can simply use some of the Italian classics to prepare some delicious recipes that vegan and non-vegans alike can really enjoy. I'm hearing a little bit of background, so I just wonder if somebody hasn't muted the microphone. Can you please make sure that you're muted? Or Lisa?
Yeah, it's me. I've muted my mic.
It's fine. Muted now. It's muted now, so... Okay, I'll just turn the volume down on the computer, I think, because it's the volume from Caterina. It's causing some problem. Okay, that should be better now. I don't hear anything on the background. Let me just make sure that the video is showing. Oh, where is it? Oh, you have to excuse me today. Caterina, there you are. Let's have a look. Okay. Anybody knows how to make Caterina's video bigger? I've been a little bit few issues here to. There we are. There we are. Okay. So, as I was saying before, I would say the main reason for creating this page, and to do these demonstrations, is to share with you what we, what we've grown up with, what I've been using every day, and also it's a way for me to kind of remember both my grandmother and my mother. They were the main reason why I've got this passion for food. They were such wonderful cooks, and I've grown up eating wonderful things every day. And before we start, I wanted to also thank you all for coming onto this call. I say there's been an incredible response. So the event today is sold out, and there have been about 400 expression of interest on Facebook for this event. So we'll be posting the video on Facebook as soon as the class is finished. And what would make me really happy is that if you could, how many people have attempted to cook at the same time as I am. And also, it would make me really happy if you put a comment once you tried one of our dishes, and saying how it turned out. If it was a good experience, if it was a bad experience, it doesn't matter. All feedback is good. The other thing I wanted to say is
Luca,
we decided that as a thank you for you coming on the call, for each person that has committed to come here by getting a ticket, we have given 3 children in the Philippines a meal, because obviously in this time is very difficult for a lot of communities, especially with being in lockdown because of coronavirus, to support their families. So as there are 25 of you, they have bought tickets. We have given 75 children basically a meal in the Philippines. The other thing I wanted to tell you before we start is that as I showing you these kind of basic recipes, I will be also teaching you the technique more, a little bit more complexity and add more ingredients onto our dishes. I mean, last week's dish, you know, the pasta aglio olio, had very few ingredients, really olive oil, garlic, and parsley. So that the important thing was to learn how to properly prepare the dish. Okay, so let's get started now. So today I'll be using. Can you make sure that? I'm sorry, I don't see myself completely. Today I'll be using just one frying pan. I use this for a lot. Is that one? I'll be using one frying pan with the high sides. I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't have one. I use this for a lot of my cooking. I use it to finish off, combine the pasta and the sauces. You know, I use it for risotto. I use it to make vegetables. So I use it pretty much every day. And then I use another pan to make the stock that we'll be using. The main difference risotto compared to normal rice is the way that we cook it. First of all, the type of rice that we use, which is a special risotto rice, and the second way, it is cooked in stock, as opposed to just throwing it in the pan and leaving it there to cook for however long it takes. We'll be cooking it in the pan and stirring continuously for all the time it takes to cook, and add stock as we go along. So these are the ingredients that we'll be using today. This is kind of like fresh rosemary. We're very lucky that we have a very big rosemary bush in the garden. So whenever we need some, we'll just go out and cut a few branches. Need 1 onion, 1 lemon, possibly if you manage to get one that is untreated, you know, and without. Sorry, there is somebody here waiting to come in or not? No, okay. Then we'll need some olive oil. Put everything here. We'll need 1 glass of dry white wine, whatever you have. Normally, as a rule, don't use your best wine for cooking. If you got wine that you don't like very much or whatever, it's great for cooking. But, you know, obviously, if you don't like it, drink something else. As for the rice, really matter about, you know, what brand you use. These are the two main risotto rice types of risotto rices: Carnaroli and Arborio. I prefer the Carnaroli simply because it keeps a little bit more al dente at the end. Where the Arborio, sometimes, you know, if you overcook it a little bit, it can, you know, it can turn into a little bit of a mess and become very very glutinous. The Carnaroli generally keeps the cooking a lot better. We'll also be using some vegetable stock. As we, you know, as I'm showing you how we cook at home, now sometimes I'll show you some shortcuts as well. Now, it's great if you make your own vegetable stock, but today I don't have any ready. So I'll just be using some stock cubes, some vegetable stock cubes to prepare the stock that we use for the risotto. And the last but not least, I've got some vegan butter. This is the one that I'm using at the moment. It's actually I found that these are really good substitutes. Okay, so let's get started right now. The first thing we're going to do, we put some water in the pan to prepare this stock. So all the quantities I'm using today are for 2 people. So I'll be using about 320 grams of rice, and the stock you will need is about 1 liter. I always prepare a little bit more because it's always better to have more than less. So I just have, 1.2, 1.3. Sorry, there's somebody's having problem to come in. Let's have a look. It's here. Okay, somebody sent a message saying that there is a problem with the sound. Is anybody having to? Is anybody Okay, so we start preparing the stock. So I'll turn the fire on under it, and there's just over 1 liter of water. So I'll be using about 2.5 stock cubes. When you prepare this, make sure that it's kind of like salty enough, because we won't be adding any salt to this dish. So all the salt comes from the stock. So if you're using a kind of like a low salt variety, you might need to add some salt to the cooking. Okay, so just 2.5 cubes of stock. Next thing we'll weigh about 320 grams. This is for 2 people. I need some more rice, so I'll open another box. As you can see, this rice comes shrink packed for freshness. You can possibly hear now as the air is coming into the packet.
Luca, how much water?
Okay, so the next
I think
thing.
he said 1 liter of water.
Rice ready.
Okay, thank you.
And now the next thing we get 1 onion and prepare it for cooking. So obviously you want to clean it up and cut it as small as you manage. I don't have any particular tips on how to cook an onion, sorry, but I think you can manage that by yourself. So obviously you want to clean it up.
Right. No. Come on. Just get into it then.
That's like cooking for you. Things are falling off all the time.
Chop.
Okay.
Want the risotto for dinner later?
Way of doing this.
Chicken risotto. Yeah.
If you can manage to cut it really small, so really you almost don't feel it when you're eating the risotto, because it will be so small that you won't notice that the onion is in there.
Luca, do you rinse the risotto?
Okay, so that will do. So that goes in the pan. The second thing what we'll do, we'll prepare the lemon. So for the lemon, we'll be using both the skin and the juice. So the first thing we need to do, we need to grate the skin of the lemon. So I'll have here a grater. And I proceed to get on grate as much of the skin as I can. If it's just for one, you don't need that much. I'm going to be using this at the very end. And it's, as you can smell as you're doing, nice and fragrant. Okay, I think there's just about enough. Okay, so this is done now. So you want to just reserve it. We'll be using it at the very end of the cooking. So let's put it aside, ready to be used when we're finished. The next thing that you'll need to prepare is the grate the cheese. So I'm actually have a little cheat in a way. I've got some that's already grated, so won't be doing that. But obviously, if you've got a block like this one, then you will need to do the same thing and grate some to be used at the end.
Luca, what kind of cheese are you using, please?
So we can start now. Oh no, there's the other thing we need to get ready. So I was forgetting.
Or anyone.
So now that we got the kind of like we grated the skin of the lemon, we'll need to squeeze it and use the juice.
Thank you.
Okay. Again, you need to squeeze the lemon and just keep it aside as we use it a little bit later during the cooking process. Later. Okay, the last thing we need to get ready before we start properly cooking is the rosemary. So we want to, obviously, the branch is kind of like woody, so we're not going to cook that. So we just remove all the leaves from the woody part, and then we'll be chopping them as fine as we can. The finer the better, because otherwise it will be, it can tend to stick in your throat when you're eating the rice. It's also a very nice seasonal dish, this one. First of all, because they are, you know, we are here in the UK. There are lots and lots of people that got rosemary in their garden. So sometimes it's, you know, it's I'm going to try to remove all the woody bits. I can see there's quite a few messages. Can you read them, see if there's any questions coming up? Okay, so this will do. And for presentation, you might want to keep a couple of the tips. We'll be using just to decorate the dish at the very end. So now that we got all the rosemary here, I'll be chopping it. So I rather do it by hand. The other thing I forgot to say is that I'll be showing you how to prepare two slightly different dishes today. So you can prepare this simply with the rosemary, or as I'm doing today, as I'll be showing, you can do it rosemary and lemon. And it's a it's a really nice, refreshing summery dish if you use the lemon with it. But it's perfectly nice to use without the lemon. Now it's kind of like if you search online, you find literally hundreds of recipes for risotto, and most of them originate from one area or other, you know, from region or other from Italy. Now the plain rosemary risotto without the lemon comes from the north of Italy, from the Valpolicella region, and the recipe with lemon, I can't see anything. Sorry, Caterina. The recipe repeat from the start what we've done. Okay, very quickly, we haven't really done much so far. What we've done, simply have prepare an onion, chopped an onion up, okay, so ready to be cooked. We have chopped the rosemary up as well, so it's ready to be used. There's a few long leaves there, it's still ready to chop. Okay, so the rosemary is ready. And then put a water that's this nice slowly boiling, where I put the stock cubes in. So I've got here just over 1 liter of water, and so the stock cubes, the ones that I'm using, make about 450 ml of stock. So I've used 2.5 in there. Okay, so I've got this ready, and we need to have this and keep it on the stove as we're cooking, because obviously we'll need to add the hot stock to the rice as we're cooking. So we can't do it with cold stock, as it will interrupt the cooking process if it's cold. So we keep it on very, very gently on the stove. Grated some Parmesan cheese. I mean, I'm using one that's already grated. If you're using a block, then you will need to grate that as well. And also we have squeeze the juice on one lemon from here. If you're cooking for one, obviously you need just half the lemon. And also we grated the skin of the lemon, the rind, lemon rind. So we got that ready. And this is kind of like, this will need at the very end. The juice we'll be using during the cooking. Okay. As I said, the juice will be using during the cooking process, but now I will need to get another lemon. Sorry, this is one of the things that happen during live cooking. So just hang on a second, I'll get another lemon. And excuse me for a second, I'll just clear this mess that I've just created. Okay, so now as I've lost all my lemon juice, I'll be juicing another lemon. To prepare this. And after we've done this, we are ready to start cooking. Okay, here we go. I'll make sure that I don't lose this one as well now. Okay, let's start cooking then. We need first some olive oil. Okay. Roughly, we put about 4 or 5 spoonfuls of olive oil in the pan. Now, this is actually quite challenging for me because I don't normally measure things too much, but as I'm having to show you different steps, I have to try a little bit because to see how much of each ingredient I'm actually using. And
I take it it's tablespoons.
A little bit of the vegan butter as well. So I just cut a little slice like this. You can see. Anything rushed. I am a supporter of the slow food movement. So anything you prepare with Italian food is a labor of love, and in particular risotto. Obviously, the risotto is a little bit more time intensive compared to other types of Italian food because you have to be literally present and stir it all the time. So you can't just let it cook and forget about it. So what we need to do now, at the moment, we need to just cook the onions until they are kind of like golden and they translucent a little bit. If you want to help the process, there's a little trick is to add a sprinkle of salt to the onions that will make them softer. Or literally the tip. Not a lot of salt, literally a pinch of salt, just a tip of a teaspoon. So as I was saying before, this is important because I kept it as simple as I could in terms of ingredients, so that you can see what the process is like when you prepare risotto. Literally, it would take about 10 minutes to prepare your ingredients before you start cooking, and then the cooking process takes about 20-25 minutes. The rice cooks in 18 minutes usually, and then obviously there is a little bit more time because you need to pan fry the onions, and then add the other ingredients like the wine and the lemon juice. So it takes 18 minutes from when you start adding stock to the rice. But we're still a few minutes away from doing that. Okay. Can I? Well, first of all, I think, okay, I had a question which is from somebody said, at which point you can add chicken and prawns. Now, I think you might be in the wrong class because we never ever add chicken to risotto. I've never seen a risotto recipe with chicken. There are risotto recipes with prawns, obviously, but that becomes a bit complicated a little bit because the prawns don't need to cook for very long. And if you use them at the beginning, it would ruin the prawns. But today we are concentrating on a vegan class. I mean, with something like that, you would add the prawns at the kind of like at the end of the cooking process. Okay, now as you can see, the onions are cooking quite nicely. They change color now. Yeah, to a nice golden color. Dinner, then and so you go other courses after the rice. You only need about 100 grams, more than that per person. So what we're doing now, we toasting the rice a little bit, so we let it absorb, you know, all the flavor from the onions and absorb all the oil that's in the pan. We keep it literally for about 1 minute, maybe a little bit longer. For the moment, we just got rice in there with nothing else. Okay, rice and the onions that were there before. Okay, we hadn't had any other ingredients so far. Now, what we'll do, we'll take some of the parsley, about half of the parsley that we prepared before. Sorry, parsley, rosemary, and we add it to the mix. And we let it cook for about a minute, which we have done. And now it's stirring it continuously. Now we add about half a glass of white wine, dry white wine. About like that, Yes, we did put dry rice. Somebody's asking, did we put dry rice into the pan? Yes, we did. We allowed about 160 grams per person. Sorry? Just normal wine, any dry white wine. I mean, if you want to use, if you got prosecco or something like that, you can use that as well. But it's a little bit of a waste, to be honest with you. Generally, I use the wines that I don't like for cooking. So you know, when you got a bottle, maybe somebody brought you and you're not too keen on it, I'll keep it for cooking. But any wine, as long as it's not sweet, you don't. The wine evaporate and be absorbed by the rice. You can see it's much better if you use a pan that's got a non-stick coating, so at least the rice doesn't stick to the pan in any stage. Okay. Yes, it's cooking to a low to medium flame. There you are. We can show at the moment. This is quite a powerful hob, so it's on the lowest setting, but you can have it if it's a slightly smaller hob. You can have a slightly higher setting. I would say normally to about medium setting, but for this pan, that hob is very big. Okay, once the wine has evaporated, we are ready now for the lemon juice. So you can see this is the lemon juice I squeezed earlier, and we add it to the rice. So it's the same as we did before. So we let it cook. Lovely smell of mix of wine, lemon, and we squeeze one lemon, fresh lemon. So we use the skin and we grate it. So we use that at the end, and then obviously we use the juice of the lemon for cooking. Okay. I mean, the one thing I won't get tired of saying it, but in Italian cooking, there's generally very few ingredients. So we want to make sure that the ingredients we use are as nice as possible. So you want to use the best of everything if you can. So something like this, when you got rosemary, obviously, this wouldn't be nice with dried rosemary, for example. And also, I wouldn't use an artificial lemon juice because it's not as nice as fresh lemon juice. Okay, so as you can see now, the rice has absorbed all the lemon, and it's kind of like, I don't know if you can hear the noise. And you can hear the frying noise of the lemon. So it's time now to start adding stock. And what we do is that we add stock a little bit at a time, and we carry on stirring. To stir in the rice, and also it gives that texture or that creaminess that is associated with risotto. Obviously, by stirring, it releases part of the rice gluten, which is, by the way, it's not bad for you if you are gluten intolerant. Like me, for example, I've been now eating gluten-free for the past about year and a half, 2 years. And rice is one of the things that I can eat without any problems. And by cooking it this way, it just develops, and you can see the more stock we add and the more we cook in, the creamier the rice becomes. So we carry on as soon as the stock is absorbed, we put a little bit more. So please feel free to unmute yourself if you want to ask any questions. Yes, we added rosemary when we put the rice in. We added about half the rosemary that we prepared, that we chopped. So at the moment we got about half the rosemary there.
Did you put lemon juice? Anyone?
You see? Okay. We are seeing from the computer and from if we can change the frame we are in the shot.
Thank you.
No, just can everybody see Caterina's screen, or are you seeing my screen? Because that's the better view is the one if you click on Caterina's name.
We are seeing Caterina's screen, but it's quite far.
Not that technically minded. Oh, good. Oh, good. Probably the thing Caterina's screen froze for a minute, so you can see a close-up probably of the risotto now. You can see that it's becoming nice and creamy. There's still liquid in there, so we just wait for the liquid to be absorbed before we add more stock. You see what I mean when I say that this is kind of like a labor of love. You know, it's preparation that it's so relaxing to prepare this kind of food, and it's also like just the aroma. I mean, obviously, I wish I could. Sorry, what was the question, Caterina?
Could you post that again, please? I just missed it.
It's on the, if you want to look on the chat, on the computer, you can see. Nives asking, I think he was asking, do we add water to the rice? But we're using stock to cook the rice in. So we got, as you can see, we got a pan with the stock on, yeah. And as the rice absorbs this, more stock to the mix. Now you can see the rice is fairly dry, so I'll add a couple of ladles of vegetable stock. Okay. I'm sorry, but I can hear from some of you they're saying that we're getting a frozen screen. Obviously, it's due to the Wi-Fi, as a lot of people are on lockdown, everybody's using the internet, so the internet speed goes right down. If you can, just be patient with it, and hopefully, as long as you can see either my screen or Caterina's, we should be okay. Okay. Now, what time is it? Okay, we're coming roughly to midway of the cooking. So what we'll do, as you can see here, the rosemary, I just keep a little bit, just a little pinch for the end, and I'll put the rest of the rosemary in there. This is what's supposed to be like. Does that answer the question? Okay. So adding a little bit more stock. You can see now how much creamier it is than when we started cooking. This is the difference of risotto rice, compared to normal long grain rice that stays very dry when cooked. This you can see is so creamy.
Luca, how many ladles are you adding at one time?
This is the time when I start tasting it now, as this is the way I do all my cooking. I have to taste it several times.
Anyone?
But it's only by tasting I can really tell when the rice is ready.
Thank you.
If you taste this rice, you will notice that at the beginning it's very lemony, and then as we add more stock, it kind of like keeps a little bit of that lemon background, but it will not be as strong a lemony taste. As you can see as well, that's why you need a pan possibly with the high sides, because obviously as the rice is absorbing all the stock, it's obviously drawing in volume. So you want to make sure that basically the pan will hold the rice, the ingredients. If you're cooking like another risotto, this is why I like using this pan, because it's large enough to cook meals for the three of us, for myself, Caterina, and our lovely son Francesco, which probably will eat most of this on its own, because he's 17 now and like he's got an insatiable appetite. So maybe when I finish, we'll bring him on to do to give his unbiased opinion. Okay, time to add a little bit more stock. Okay, there we go. He's getting close to the end now. Now we just got to wait for the rice to be properly cooked. Otherwise, let's say another few minutes. If you will have to when to add the stock or not, you'll have to judge a little bit by yourself, because it depends on also by the size of the pan that you're using. The bigger the pan, obviously the more the liquid evaporates, so you might need to use a slightly more stock. Any questions, by the way? At the moment, it's quite. We're just waiting for the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's a good time to ask any questions if you have any. As I'm not too busy. You're all hungry. You're all hungry. I know I am as well. Actually, I've had breakfast at about 6 o'clock this morning. So I am really looking forward to this. This is a dish that is really summery. That's why. Summery dish, which unusually for a risotto, this is quite nice eaten cold as well because of the lemon. You can also have this, you know, later on when it's cooled down. Generally, you want to serve the risotto, you know, pretty hot. But this one is kind of like a summery variety. The important thing is that all the elements for cooking risotto are there. So even if there are very few ingredients, you are learning how to prepare risotto. And later on, when I show you in other classes how to do different dishes, you'll have the basics already there. Although the ingredients will be different. So I'll do now another tasting to see how we are. Okay, we're almost there now. So I'll probably about 1 minute left. So I'll add the rest of the rosemary.
So if we want to have vegetables, do we add them at the end?
You wouldn't really add vegetables to this dish. Okay, that's the question. If you want to add vegetables, do we add it at the end? This is the risotto is a dish in itself. You don't add anything to it. Okay, so anything. The idea when you have like one plate, everything on one plate. So serve this with that, or serve with that, it can be with chips or with something else. In Italy, it doesn't work like that. Normally, you have a starter, then you take that away. You have a first course, which is either a rice dish or a pasta dish. Take that away, and then you have, you know, another dish, which may be vegetables or maybe you know, if you eat meat or fish, it could be meat or fish or whatever. And then take that away, and then you have the dessert. Okay, so we don't mix things in Italian cooking. We just have each dish is a different creation and deserves its own plate. Okay, so I think we have got now. We just have the last tasting. I think we got to the end of the cooking. So the rice is nice and cooked now. So I just turn it off the boil. As you can see now, it's all the stock.
So you've used the whole litre of stock, yes?
By the wine, sorry, by the rice. So the risotto is almost ready. It just needs the last touch. Okay, so I can get to the butter. So what we do, we just add a we just add a little bit of butter, kind of like a spoonful of butter. And now we will mix it all in. Christine, if your rice is not ready, then carry on. You might have taken a little bit longer. You might not have added as much stock, so carry on cooking it for a little while until it becomes. It needs to have a little bit of bite, so it doesn't have to be completely soft. And the risotto rice does keep a little bit al dente, so it won't be as soft as a maybe basmati rice. Okay, so keep that in mind. Yes, I have used pretty much all the stock. As you can see there, I have I had about 1.3 liters there. So I always add about 4 spoonfuls of that, and you can add a little bit later when you plate up. Okay, so now all of this is mixed together. So what was the question? Can you use? Well, if you're not vegan, obviously you can use parmesan. And this is how this is a traditional recipe using obviously butter and parmesan, but obviously I've used vegan alternatives. But if you're not vegan and you eat parmesan, then you can use that. Okay, now the risotto is ready. We'll now get the plates.
So adding a bit more butter in rice was just cooked.
Yes, we add about a knob of butter, like a tablespoon of butter when the rice is cooked. Now we are ready to plate up. Oh, let's have a look. Focus is on the taste. But this is basically a plate ready, and then we finish it off with a little bit of the lemon peel. That gives it gives a nice fresh taste. You don't need to mix this in really. You just keep it here on the outside, and then we add a little bit of rosemary that we left at the end. So here is the finished dish. That's it. It's just on the top. I don't know if you can you see that, the lemon rind on the plate. It's just gone on the plate. Just gone on the rice. You just put that on top at the end when you plate up. Can you all see the dish? Let me see, put it in the other, just in case you see it on this instead. That's the on the computer. This is the dish of risotto completed. Now, are there any questions? Because I don't know, I've shown you a lot of things. Maybe some of you may have missed a step or two. So if you have any questions, now is the right time to ask them. To do the testing. There you go.
Right. Okay, moment of truth. Very, very nice. Excellent. I hope yours has come out very nice as well, but this is absolutely delicious.
I'm getting hungry now. You can get Francesco so you can have a taste as well. The next class of deliciousness will be next week at the same time. I mean, what I was planning for next week is something slightly different in the sense that I would like to teach you how to prepare in an hour a full Italian meal with not just one dish, but we'll be doing a starter, a main course, a vegetable dish, and a dessert. We do all this in 1 hour. Okay, and it will be, again, don't worry about it. It's not going to be a lot of ingredients. It's going to be quite simple. But this is the basics of Italian cooking. I hope that if you watch the video from that we did make last week, and if you're here today and you see the presentation, you can see the Italian cooking is very simple. This is actually what we eat at home, and the recipes that normally you find on the party dishes that you have once or twice a year.
We can make mine a bit last week video.
Oh, the last week's video is on the Facebook page. I'll send you all a link, as I got all your email addresses. So I'll send you a link by email. So watch out for an email coming from Luca at yohoh.co.uk. Sorry.
How can we donate to them?
How can we donate? Okay, you can donate. I'll send a link with that as well if you are wishing to donate for the Philippines children. I would send a link. We created a Just Giving page, so you're welcome to. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to donate, you're very welcome to contribute to that page. The things that we'll be teaching you next week.
Is the cheese added at the end?
Yes, the cheese is added right at the end when we turn the fire off, cooking, and we add a little bit of butter, like about a tablespoon of butter, and cheese in the cooking. You can also add a little bit if you want once you put it in the plate, and you add a little bit on top, more for decoration than anything else. But I like to have all the flavors there, so I mix it in the pan rather than putting it on the plate, because it is all part of I tend to use this one, the Violife. They make a really nice. The butter is really excellent. They make, and this is possibly the closest that I found to the kind of like taste of Parmesan. Yeah, I wouldn't say the vegan cheese is normally something that get my juices flowing. It's okay. Yeah, if you're non-vegan, you can use Parmesan. You can use Parmesan or Grana Padano. To our traditional Italian sour cheeses. Don't use soft cheeses with this, okay? Use if you're non-vegan, then use hard Italian cheeses like the Parmigiano Reggiano, Grana Padano. If you are vegan, try to use a hard cheese. Again, not a soft one like imitation mozzarella or something like that. You want kind of like a hard cheese that you grate. It's probably very different from the one that you might have tasted in restaurants. This is going to be the starter. The main course, we'll do some pasta with fresh tomatoes and basil, which is last week we did garlic and parsley, so it was kind of like a white pasta, which is the one type of Italian preparation. The next week we'll be doing the other type. It's basically the basic fresh tomato and basil is the base of how to prepare tomato-based sauces. And again, it's a recipe that's got very few ingredients, so it's easy to get used to this other technique. And so we'll do that as a pasta dish. Then as a vegetable dish, I'll be cooking a cauliflower with garlic. And again, very simple, very few ingredients. And and I'm still debating 2 or 3 desserts. We'll be using
Orzo pasta.
I won't be using orzo pasta. I don't know where you get that from. I mean, every penny. And as we're using very few ingredients, you want to make sure that you've got the best, okay? Okay, so Caterina is not on for some reason, so I'll put it in front of the computer, see if you can see that. Okay, this is the cecco pasta, the cecco linguine. Can you all see that now on my stream?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, Caterina is back? I can't see anything. Okay, so this is the, say, if you don't have a problem with wheat, the cecco don't do a gluten-free variety. So this is a wheat pasta, obviously, and it contains gluten, but it is wonderful. So if you're okay with wheat and with gluten, then this is the one I recommend. If you got a gluten intolerance, and I have, for example, so I've been trying many different types of pasta. Oh, you're back. we can find it. The Cecco, you can find pretty much everywhere. This one, we find it difficult to find on supermarkets. We only found it on a very large Sainsbury's supermarket here in the UK, but we don't seem to be able to find it anywhere else. So we've ordered actually about a few boxes online. Question? There was a question that Mr. Sales going to the chat.
There's two questions. There's two.
Can you, sorry, could you read them to me? Because I found it a little bit difficult. What's the gluten-free one called? Okay, yes, again, I'll show you the gluten. Can you see Caterina on the screen? Okay, I don't know, can you see this? It's a Barilla gluten-free.
No, you can't see it.
Can you see it? I'll put it, yeah, Barilla, but don't worry, I'll be sending you, I've got everybody's email address, everybody who's on the call today, so I'll be sending you the link with whatever you need for next week. Probably would be something to do with strawberries. Okay, and yeah, pretty much that's it. Now, I would like to, for the few of you that attempted this dish, it would be really nice if you commented once the video is up on Facebook. That would be really great, because what makes me...
Thank you so much, Luca, from Cuisine. It tastes so good. Thank you so much, Luca.
Oh, fantastic. It's lovely to hear, lovely to hear. Yeah, the best feedback for me is to know, that you have attempted to cook one of my dishes and that you enjoyed it. I mean, that's really makes me happy to share something like this. I mean, I've started all this during the lockdown, because we're thinking, okay, what can each one of us add, to make everybody a little bit happier. And the one thing that I always end up, when I'm with friends or in social environments, I always end up talking about food, because I've got this taste in my mouth from all the wonderful dishes that I've tasted, and whenever I taste something new or something great, I'm not happy until I manage to recreate it at home. This is to give you ideas on what dishes you can do at home yourself, and I'll try and do things that are as quick to prepare as possible. Now, the risotto is one of the longest preparations that I'll be showing you. The other things would be generally a lot quicker than that. So I'll be really interested to see next week if we can prepare 4 dishes in an hour. Okay, so I have a proper traditional Italian meal with a starter, first course, vegetable dish, and dessert. Okay, so I'll be really looking forward to it, and I hope you can, you can all make it next week as well. If I can ask you a favor, as I'll be sending you the link. If you could please go on the Facebook page, if you haven't done so already, like the page, and once I post the video, just put a little comment on the video saying that you were there and what you got from the class. Hopefully you have enjoyed it, and if you have any bad comments or whatever, just put those in as well, because as long as they are genuine criticism, then otherwise I'll be leaving you to your lovely dish, to enjoy your lovely dish. Let me see this question. I couldn't get any rice earlier as the shop only to cash in. Okay, well, it's a bit difficult to cook this dish without rice, but I'll be, as I said, I'll be posting the video online, so so it'll be okay. Okay, you can just follow the steps, and also with the video, I will post all the different steps that you need to take, so you got them in black and white as well in writing. You don't just have to rely on the video for what you need to do. Okay, I can see that Christine is enjoying the rice. Well done, Christine. Okay. Any last minute? Love the risotto. I'll make it again. From Elodie. Okay, fantastic.
Thanks, Luke. I've learned so much today about vegan ingredients. I'll make it. This is. Did you get that?
Yes, that's Frittura. Okay, I'm glad you enjoy Frittura. And nice. So my screen is frozen now. But, am I muting you? Okay, so I'm still having some issues with this, but thank you very much. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody, and see you again next week. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you. It was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luca.
Sì, è finito, papà.
Thank you.
Ciao, grazie.